The anniversary of the Taliban's return to power in Afghanistan is a deeply charged and controversial moment, especially because women were outright banned from participating in the public celebrations. On this fourth anniversary, thousands of men gathered across Kabul to witness helicopters drop flowers in a symbolic gesture marking the group's takeover, an event from which women were completely excluded. Out of the 6 locations designated for these flower showers, 3 were already restricted zones where women have been forbidden since November 2022 from entering parks and other public recreational spaces. This exclusion highlights the broader, systematic limitations placed on women's freedom under the Taliban's rule. To provide some background, the Taliban reclaimed Afghanistan on August 15, 2021, as U.S. and NATO forces concluded their 2-decade-long military engagement and withdrew. Since then, the Taliban have enforced a stringent interpretation of Islamic law, deeply affecting daily life and placing harsh restrictions, particularly on women and girls. These measures stem from directives given by the Taliban's supreme leader, Hibatullah Akhundzada, who enforces policies that severely curtail women's rights and freedoms. The official program for Friday's anniversary was strictly male-only, including speeches by cabinet members. An anticipated outdoor sports event, initially expected to showcase Afghan athletes, was ultimately canceled, signaling the broader restrictions placed on public life and community engagement under Taliban governance. The international community, including human rights organizations, foreign governments, and the United Nations, has repeatedly condemned the Taliban for their repression of women. Women remain barred from many professions and cannot pursue education beyond the 6th grade, and most public spaces continue to be inaccessible to them. These restrictions isolate women from contributing fully to society and perpetuate a climate of fear and inequality. In defiance of these oppressive circumstances, members of the United Afghan Women's Movement for Freedom protested indoors in Takeover province in northeastern Afghanistan. They issued a powerful statement. This day marked the beginning of a black domination that excluded women from work, education, and social life. We, the protesting women, remember this day not as a memory, but as an open wound of history, a wound that is not yet healed. The fall of Afghanistan was not the fall of our will. We stand, even in the darkness. Their message underscores the enduring spirit and resilience of Afghan women, even as their freedoms shrink. Simultaneous protests were held indoors in Islamabad, Pakistan, where Afghan women held signs declaring, "Forgiving the Taliban is an act of enmity against humanity." And August 15th is a dark day. Photographs from the protest showed the women fully veiled except for their eyes, symbolizing both their resistance and the constraints they face. Earlier that day, Taliban leader Hibatullah Akhundzada released a rare statement, warning that divine punishment would befall any Afghans who failed to appreciate the Islamic rule imposed by the Taliban. He claimed that Afghans had endured nearly 5 decades of hardship and sacrifice to establish Sharia law, which, according to him, had saved the country from corruption, oppression, usurpation, drugs, theft, robbery, and plunder. Akhundzada urged his followers to express gratitude to Allah during the Victory Day commemorations, cautioning that ingratitude would result in severe punishment from God. However, this narrative starkly contrasts with international legal findings. Just last month, the International Criminal Court, ICC, issued arrest warrants for Akhundzada and Taliban Chief Justice Abdul Hakim Haqqani, accusing them of crimes against humanity due to their orchestrated persecution of women and girls. The ICC documented reasonable grounds to believe that these leaders implemented policies that stripped women and girls of their rights to education, privacy, family life, freedom of movement, expression, and religion. This year's anniversary was notably more subdued compared to the previous one, which featured a provocative military parade at a former U.S. airbase, a spectacle that drew criticism from former President Donald Trump over the display of abandoned American military equipment. Beyond political repression, Afghanistan faces a worsening humanitarian crisis exacerbated by climate change. Millions of Afghan refugees are being forcibly expelled from neighboring Iran and Pakistan, facing heightened repression and uncertain futures. Simultaneously, international donor funding has precipitously declined, further deepening the country's economic and social instability. But here's the part most people miss. While the world watches these anniversaries and tensions unfold, the voices of Afghan women and dissenters continue to echo, despite profound risks. Could the ongoing international focus on political leadership inadvertently overshadow the urgent need for humanitarian support and women's rights? And what does the future hold for Afghanistan? A nation marked by resilience but shadowed by oppression. This is a moment to reflect. How do we truly support those who are denied even the basic dignity of participation in their country's most significant events? And importantly, can justice be served when those in power openly threaten divine punishment for dissent? These are questions that deserve your thoughts. Do you agree that more global pressure is needed? Or is engagement with the Taliban complicated beyond simple solutions? Please share your perspective in the comments below.